KVK Sivanyanam, Chairman.
Oh, HD original ratio room. Close
Department of Political Science, University of Jaffna.
unmute.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the conference on India's G20 Implications for Indo-Pacific, organized by the Center for Strategic Studies, Srinagar. Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Turkey, United Kingdom, and United States, and the European Union. G20 is the premier intergovernmental forum for international economic cooperation. The forum plays an important role in shaping and strengthening global architecture and governance on all major international economic issues. India holds the presidency of the G20 from 1st December 2022 to 30th November 2023. The theme of India's G20 presidency is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that is, one earth, one family, and one future. The G20 presidency shares the G20 agenda for 1 year and hosts the summit. The G20 consists of 2 particular tracks, the finance track and the Sherpa track. Finance ministers and central bank of governors lead the finance track, while Sherpas lead the Sherpa track. The G20 process from the Sherpa side is coordinated by the Sherpas of member countries, who are personal emissaries of the leaders. Finance track is led by finance ministers and central bank governors of the member countries. Within the 2 tracks, there are thematically oriented working groups in which representatives from the relevant ministries of the members as well from invited guest countries and various international organizations participate. In addition, there are engagement groups which bring together civil societies, parliamentarians, think tanks, women, youth, labor, businesses, and researchers of the G20 countries. The group does not have a permanent secretariat. The presidency is supported by the Turkey, previous, current, and incoming presidency. During India's presidency, the Turkey will comprise Indonesia, India, and Brazil respectively. India's G20 priorities: green development, climate finance, and lifestyle for environment, accelerated inclusive and resilient growth, accelerating progress on sustainable development goals, technological transformation and digital public infrastructure, multilateral institutions for the 21st century, women-led development. India kick-started its presidency term agenda with a series of cultural initiatives that included various young budgetary activities, a special University Connect event with 35 educational institutions from across the country, the lighting up of 100 ASI monuments with the G20 logo and colors, and showcasing G20 at the Hornbill Festival in Nagaland. Sand artist Shri Sudarshan Patnaik also created sand art of India's G20 logo on Puri Beach in Odisha. Various other events, youth activities, cultural performance, and site excursions showcasing the sites and traditions of respective site venues are also planned throughout the year-long calendar. So let us listen to the speakers Let me invite Mr. Javindra, Executive Director, Center for Strategic Studies, Singapore, to welcome the guests and the audience and make opening remarks. Mr. A. Javindra.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First, I would like to welcome our experts and guests today. The special guest, Professor Balsundram Pillai, former Vice Chancellor, University of Jaffna, and Mr. K. Nadarajan, former Consul General of India, Jaffna, Dr. Jahan Pereira, Executive Director, National Peace Council, Commodore Sisa Trivasan, Head of Chennai's Center for Chinese Studies, and Ramakrishnan, journalist and associate editor of Hindu, and Professor K.P. Kanisarikam, and Dr. Sri Ganesan, who is going to moderate. And ladies and gentlemen, particularly the Member of Parliament, Mr. Siddharthan, and writers, intellectual, Father Mariam Pillai. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say a few words about, because the time constraint. The Center for Strategic Studies Trincomalee is a think tank based in Trincomalee. It was launched in 2018. We believe, we can say that it is an only think tank based in the North and East, which can able to address the geopolitical issues, particularly the Indo-Pacific and Quad. The question will arise why we include Trincomalee with this name. The Trincomalee is described as a strategic duel. After all, Trincomalee has been a contested site for centuries. In his book, The Influence of Sea Power in History, stated that it is an excellent and defensible harbour. Some describe it as the finest harbour in the world. So that why we include Trincomalee, because the strategic importance of Trincomalee and also the Sri Lanka. That's why we include Trincomalee. So far we have been conducted some programs online. This is the first conference. Another question arises why we talk about G20. Because it's a big thing. Why we talk about the small think tank, CSST, why CSST talk about G20. Our concern is not G20, not about the G20. Our concern is India's presidency, India's G20 presidency is the matter. That's why we consider the G20 is important. India assumed the presidency last month with the theme of Vasudeva Kudumbaha, or One Earth, One Family. Vasudeva Kudumbaha is a Sanskrit phrase which means the world is one family. Vedic tradition means all living beings on earth are family. The interesting thing is that we have a same phrase in Tamil. The Sangha Klausava Kaniyan Pungundrana says all the places on earth are our town and all the people are our relatives. The Vasudeva Kudumbaha and the Sangha Klausava Kaniyan Pungundrana phrase also the boats are safe. India is a big brother of the region, and everything that happens within the sphere of influence of the big brother is important to us. We cannot stay away from it, and also we cannot try to escape from this responsibility. At the same time, all major movements in the world affect us positively or negatively. For example, the war in Ukraine, we didn't decide, but the war will affect all of us. India has assumed the G20 presidency at a time when the world is caught in a new geopolitical tension. India has assumed this responsibility despite recently proving its worth as the world's fifth economic power. In this sense, it is even more important. Strategically, India assumes the leadership for the Indo-Pacific in our view. During US President Clinton visit to India, he mentioned that India is a leader. It has now been proved. India has a unique merit among the nations today. That is, India has the potential to act as a connector of the globe and also coordinator of the country, all the countries. Because India is the largest democracy and one and only democratic power in Asia. China is no doubt is a number two, but China is not a democratic power. In this sense, the India's success is the success of the region. India's downfall is our downfall. India's crisis that will affect us. As we are living close door of India, what benefit can Sri Lanka derive from the India's G20? We all know how would respond to the crisis in Sri Lanka. We all know how India would respond to the crisis in Sri Lanka under the neighborhood first policy. Indeed, India's assistance to Sri Lanka when it was trapped in a colossal economic crisis was immense. India disbursed 3.8 billion in just 250 days, 55 days. Perhaps if India had not given in, Sri Lanka would have been in an irreversible crisis. People would have starved to death. A true friend is one who helps in danger if he is a true friend. The true friend now leads the world's most powerful group in G20. The Indian External Affairs Minister, Dr. Jaffna, said when he talked about the G20, India intends to use its presidency for the benefit of the international community. India will be a voice of fairness and justice. So now the question is, how can Sri Lanka benefit from this movement? What kind of opportunities does this give us? How can we use it? How to understand it in different dimensions? From a political perspective or geopolitical perspective, how do we understand it in a foreign policy context? These are the titles that our experts are going to cover today. This event is a small attempt to find answers to such those questions. In my understanding, if I am correct, this could be the first conference to be held in Sri Lanka based on India's G20 presidency. Perhaps it will be the first conference to be held in the neighboring countries, perhaps. If this small attempt inspires more conversation, that will be our success. So I am going to, this is my opening remarks. Now the moderator will continue this event. Thank you very much for listening, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. K. Jadindra, Research Director, Center for Strategic Studies, for the welcome and opening remarks. So, In this context, it would be very appropriate to invite Mr. A. Natarajan, former Consul General of Indian High Commission, Jaffna. Mr. K. Natarajan, we don't need to have more introduction because he was very well known when he was here as an Indian diplomat. He worked here during the period January 2015 to March 2018. He moved very closely with the academics, artists, writers, and whatnot during the public. He simply visited and attended every function, even the Apomada Puja celebrated at Sudumalai. Every year he visited with his family. To that extent, he moved closer to the society. Let me welcome Mr. A. Natarajan, former Consul General of India in Jaffna, to speak on India's G20 presidency, opportunities and advantages for Sri Lanka in 2023. Mr. A. Natarajan.
Distinguished guest speakers, the Chickamauga-based think tank known as Center for Strategic Studies, led by Mr. Jatendra. It is indeed a great privilege for me to share my thoughts about the multilateral group G20 with the universe. As one of the founding members of G20, India has consistently contributed its deliberations on concerns of global prominence. As the current G20 presidency, India is in a position to identify, augment, and strengthen the international support for priorities of vital significance to emerging countries in different social and economic sectors, stretching from trade, digital economy, energy, health, tourism, agriculture, anti-corruption, women's empowerment, and from environment to employment. After all, the G20 has been formed in order to strengthen the international financial architecture against the backdrop of the global financial crisis. Its main objective to achieve global economic stability, to promoting financial regulations for risk reduction, substantial and sustainable growth, and also to prevent any future financial crisis by creating a robust international financial architecture. India is not only world's the largest democracy, but also a key economic and geopolitical player on the world stage. India's flow towards achieving solutions that are not today. For example, the Ukraine war has the developing countries with mounting debt and high import bills. As a matter of fact, many of the developing countries has been suffering from the impact of the higher import bills of food and fuel. I am confident as the current G20 presidency, India would make all efforts to achieve and also to sustain global peace, tranquility and stability, and also global economic stability. Since its independence, India has been a strong advocate of multilateralism, and the G20 presidency has given India an opportunity to shape an agenda for the global cooperation as the world emerges from the shadows of COVID-19 pandemic. Dear friends, the current G20 presidency, the theme or the slogan, as our previous speaker said, Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam. In other words, in Tamil, we say, Yadana Ure, Yavaram Kere. We all know the meaning of what is Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam. Keeping this in view, the Indian government and also the Indian Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, all they have decided to host about 200 meetings in 50 cities across the country. That is why, it shows, it says that unity in diversity. So we are proud not only to be as current, the present incumbent of G20 presidency, but we are also happy to host so many meetings in different cities. Now, CSST has asked me, if I throw some light on the opportunities and some other help available. Closely, intimately, and intensely, especially after the cessation of hostilities or the end of internal conflict in May 2009, India has proactively engaged in the overall development of the island nation. Whether you take housing project, whether you take any renovation, rehabilitation projects, for example, the rehabilitation of Ankesar Airport, the reconstruction of Kolani Airport, and the Jaffna Cultural Center. So we apart from politics, we also help Sri Lanka as much as possible in the areas of welfare projects, sports, science, education, culture, so on and so forth. So being the current G20 presidency, how India can help or how Sri Lanka can take the advantage of being neighboring country of G20 presidency. Well, dear friends, I think Sri Lanka may see the current G20 presidency to reschedule the foreign debts, particularly of China, Japan, and India. Also, Sri Lanka can seek the help of India to persuade the other Gulf member countries to supply concessional crude oil to Sri Lanka. And Sri Lanka can also seek the help of India And India can also encourage Sri Lanka to enter into, the free trade agreements or free trade arrangements with other G20 member countries, so that the foreign resource or the foreign revenue could increase. Well, dear friends, India can also, as a G20 member country, can give some more development on renewable energy, for example, wind and solar projects. And India and other G20 member countries can help Sri Lanka to restructure the workforce employed in government, since they consume more than 86% of tax revenue in Sri Lanka. So therefore, India and other G20 member countries can help Sri Lanka. And Sri Lanka can also seek the help of its neighboring country, who is holding the G20 presidency. Moreover, I will make it very short. The connectivity, as we already have the air service between Palani and Chennai, which has been doing very well right now. Also, through media, we have come to know about connectivity through sea or ferry service between Communication Train in Jaffna and Karaikal in Puducherry. I think if this ferry service also come into picture, it will be very good for both the countries. In addition, I would like to add one more point before I finish my points. That a hovercraft service can also be explored between India and Sri Lanka. For example, between Talaimanna and the Dhanushkodi. I have been to both the places on both the sides. So today there is no any jetty or piers available either in Talaimanna or in Dhanushkodi. So given this fact, hovercraft can land anywhere, water or surface. No need any jetty or pier. So, this operation of hovercraft between India and Sri Lanka could also be explored, which will give, it will be possible. So, these are the things, can Sri Lanka can take the advantage of that India being the current G20 presidency, and I am sure India will be very happy, delighted to help the neighboring country which is in need of, at that time. So, in this, dear friends, I would like to take this opportunity to thank CSST for organizing such an important forum on G20 presidency, because probably the CSST one of the first foremost one to organize such a program on G20 presidency. So the credit goes to CSST, mostly to Mr. Jatendra and his other colleagues. On behalf of other speakers, we are very thankful to CSST and Mr. Jatendra for organizing such an important program and also for giving me an opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Honorable Mr. K. Natarajan, former Consul General of Jaffna, Deputy High Commission of India. Actually, he has made a statement of late, that is, Sri Lanka can take the advantage of being a member country of G20 to continue with this development. And he was also pointing out that the development program launched by the Indian government with regard to housing schemes development of airports and ports, etc. And he has also pointed out that we could invite Arab countries to get oil, go into free trade agreements with the member countries for more development, and looking for the opportunities of establishing renewable energy like solar energy, windmills, etc., etc. So, in his speech, it has become a very constructive one. So, we would be getting more benefits with that speech. Let me invite our Honorable Professor Emeritus Pon Balsubrahmanyam, former Vice Chancellor of University Jaffna. He may not need an introduction. He has been with us, with the society throughout his life, although he has his invitations to get settled in various other countries as one of the members of the diaspora community, but he prefers to be with us and he guides us a lot through academic methods and through cultural and other activities. Thank you, sir. Welcome. Let us listen to your talk. Professor P. Balsubrahmanyam.
Thank you for inviting me. Respected audience, with other speakers, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great opportunity for me to say a few words while accepting the chairman and moderator and Mr. Naraja's views on the G20 meeting in Delhi, future. The G20, the 19 countries, as he said, 19 countries plus the European Union, they are controlling the global economy and the global trade and population. Very high percentage of population are living within the 20 countries. Further, nearly 60% of the area also under this trade. And you all know, after the Second World War over, the Hindenburg twins were created for the world to empower the world through the economic development. That is IMF and World Bank after the Second World War. Then subsequently, still both of them, both and United Nations are doing good job. But in the 60s, 70s, another group formed, G7, that is the United States, Canada, England, France, Italy, and Japan. That is about 7 countries. Subsequently, they incorporated Russia, also become G8. Later, Russia, they detached Russia, now is a group 7. With all that, with America and Germany, in 1990, they put this proposal to have G20, the 19 members, to create a forum where the international financial system, international trade, international economic development, political stability, also all other natural things they want to develop. So it's very success. It started from Canada, Australia, and going on now. Last year, there's an international conference held in Bali. So China, Hong Kong, Buenos Aires, Osaka, Riyadh, Rome, Bali, all sorts of places. What to say? Now this is the first time from the November 30th onwards, G20 presidency is given to India. We are our neighbor. India, Sri Lanka is our neighbor. India is our neighbor. So what we are going to get? Already the speakers mentioned various things. We will benefit immensely. The host nation can invite one or two countries on its own to participate in the conference. So India has an opportunity to invite two countries. They will decide, or they may invite or they may not invite, but according to the system, they can invite two countries to part. They are on their invitation. And various other institutions also, not as a full member, as a participant. So Sri Lanka has an opportunity to participate along with the G20 if you are lucky enough to get one of the positions. So this is the two, India can invite two countries for the conference. So we have a chance. We have a chance because India is not going to invite Pakistan or Bangladesh or Sri Lanka or Nepal. Maybe a chance. So this is the one. Second, the first time in a developed nation, now India is going to be very soon going to be number 3 world economy. India is going to displace Germany, the 5th place, Germany and Japan. And after US, China, then third economy is going to be India. So very, very important position. Now India is in very important position. So our nation, India has a population of 1,500 million. Sri Lanka is only 22 million. Even Tamil Nadu is about 80 million population. Sri Lanka is only 22 million. So our country comparatively small. So this is the structure. So this conference, gathering of international 20 leaders and other invitees will give a boost to South Asia. So once we wanted to have a South Asia SAARC concept, but it didn't work very well. But with this, the South Asia will get a new image on the planet. So this is another important aspect. As earlier speaker said, trade, concessional starting from various imports like oil or some other item. So Sri Lanka is anyway going to benefit from this conference. This is one. This G20 also they have their own problems. There are many countries wanted to join, but they said no. Even Spain, they are accommodated. Poland continually applying for membership is denied. There are several other countries are interfering. Even Norway, all other countries say this forum excluded them 173 countries. They said the United Nations has 193 countries. Norway is complained. The forum is excluded 173 countries, but still, this forum is a very powerful economic terms or geopolitical terms or international trade or international other issues like control of climate change or environmental issues, various other issues. This forum is very strong. So, if this conference, this presidency of during the Indian period, we can expect a substantial progress and substantial assistance will be advocated by India for the developing nations of Africa and South America and other smaller countries and island nations. So India is very keen that India should help the developing nations, because India herself, it was a developing nation. Even now we call it to some extent is a developing nation, but also very keen that India should help the African countries, particularly the poor African countries or Middle East or South Asia and Pacific, that is ocean countries. So we are going to, anyway we are going to. While India we are pricing, we should have, the forum also should have, there are having a big events going to be at Mamallapuram in Tamil Nadu and Chennai and other places. We should have very close relation with India, especially with Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu, the state of India, is fairly developed, a well-developed state within India, so that, and highly industrialized state in textile or motor vehicles or IT sector or leather or garment or all areas. So Tamil Nadu is one of the, even Tamil Nadu is going to surpass the Maharashtra. Maharashtra is a big state and a big population. But with that, within India, Sri Lanka also a good relation with India as well as Tamil Nadu. That is a thing I like to advocate, because the Palali to Chennai flights and the ship and Huvakra, various other things, we must have very close link with Tamil Nadu, mainly for it's a great benefit for the entire Sri Lanka, because highly industrialized state. There are many of us, many people are not aware of the present status of Tamil Nadu's economic capacity. They think that about 50 years ago it was a poor state, that sort of level, but now totally different. So the Indian this conference, we should have twin objectives. One is very close relation with India without any conflict. We must also have a very good relation with Tamil Nadu. This is we must have these two strategies. The close link with India as well as some special link with Tamil Nadu. That will bring immense benefit to Sri Lanka as a whole and particularly to the north. This is my position. And also we may have a chance, if we articulate enough, we might get a chance, the Sri Lanka might get a chance to attend the conference, because the host country can invite two countries according to their system. So I don't want to proceed further. So I thank especially Jasin for his initiative and other moderator Sri Ganeshan, Dr. Sri Ganeshan and Professor Ganeshan and others for inviting me to address this forum. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your very valuable comments. And you were talking about the development of global economy. All these countries have the most populated people. And after the Second World War, how attempts have to be taken to see development. So now India has taken the third place in the world economy after US and China, and how it is leading in all the development activities. And he has also pointed out how the Sri Lankan nation could be benefited if articulated enough. It can become one of the countries to host the conference in future, through which it would be able to get more benefits. So that we need to have close link with the Indian government as well as the Tamil Nadu state government. Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable comments and aspects. Let us invite the third speaker, Mr. T. Ramakrishnan, a well-known journalist from Chennai. He will talk on India's G20 presidency. What does it mean to Sri Lanka? That would be the topic for his speech. Mr. Ramakrishnan, a well-known journalist, currently serves as associate editor of Indo newspaper in Tamil Nadu. He has in-depth understanding of Sri Lankan issues. He is an author of a book titled An Ethnic Conflict and an Accord. He used to travel and learn more about our problems, particularly much interest in the development issues of North and East. Let me welcome and invite Mr. T. Ramakrishnan to speak on India's G20 presidency. What does it mean to Sri Lanka? Thank you.
May last year, when Jaffna and I attended a seminar last, if nobody serves me right, that was just 3 days before the resignation of the then Prime Minister, As you all know, since then, Sri Lanka has witnessed catastrophic events. I would say it is too early to judge the impact of these events on the politics and society of Sri Lanka. I will touch upon those aspects of India-Sri Lanka bilateral ties which can benefit Sri Lanka in a big way, making use of India's G20 presidency. The presidency is taking place immediately after India's external affairs minister is commissioned to the discussions with various dignitaries of the Sri Lankan government, which was in turn preceded by India writing to the IMF, giving assurances as one of the great requisites to Sri Lanka getting the multilateral agencies aid package. As Colombo has completed the restructuring talks with Tokyo, it is hoped that the PG2 will shortly wrap up the process of growth. I wish to recall a few statements that are of relevance to my talk. Dr. Jaishankar has said that the decision to support Sri Lanka was the reassertion of India's belief in the principle of neighborhood first and not leaving a partner to fend for themselves. He made this observation in the light of New Delhi providing the $84 billion assistance last October. In November, Prime Minister Narendra Modi unveiled the logo of the G20 presidency, which has the image of lotus, along with the message of Vasudeva Kutumbakam, 1 year, 1 family, 1 future. India should play its role in its solutions to challenges in ensuring peace, unity, environment, and sustainability. Early this month, while addressing a gathering in Vietnam, Jaishankar said it would be a voice of fairness and justice, and it would ensure that diversity of the religion, local culture, local cuisine, and local products are all displayed. As you are all aware, friends of police, G20 comprises countries from one corner of the world, US, Argentina, Brazil, to another South Africa, besides the world like India, Saudi Arabia, Russia, and Turkey. Together, G20 nations account for around 80% of global economic output, nearly 75% of global exports, and about 60% of the world's population. These figures are defined relatively still, while the corresponding rates for group of several nations, a smaller group of economically better off, have shrunk. When the first G20 summit level meeting took place in the US in 2008, the world was in the middle of the economic slowdown. Now the world is in the midst of the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, climate change, ongoing Russian war, Ukraine, Western sanctions on energy, and the projected economic slowdown. It is against this backdrop that Sri Lanka has to approach the present so that its future can be more smooth and stable, at least economically. As indicated during the recent discussions between Dr. Jayshankar and the Sri Lankan government, I feel the age of energy, at least electricity, has to be paid at instrumental to sustain. Of course, there is an in-principle agreement on renewable energy framework. But I would emphasize that even in the field of conventional source of energy, the Sri Lanka has faced steps such as developing a narrow island Samudram project. There is one being a project was funded after the most crucial environmental layers. Another project which has been talked about for long is linking Sri Lanka's electricity grid with other. India, which has cross-border energy trade with Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, and Myanmar. I don't understand why India should not be part of such a sub-regional grouping in energy trade. I visualize one day when Sri Lanka can become our citizens and on immediate excess energy to India. As an observer of Tamil Nadu electricity sector nearly for the last 30 years, I would say that a state that is the closest to Sri Lanka and that has a population of nearly 18 million, be the first to respond enthusiastically to any offer of electricity state. As a person who I think I can make that claim was the first Indian passenger to be brought in moving past on the inaugural flight of Chennai jaffna flight services in December 12th. I'm very glad to know that the flights, especially the jaffna sector, are running through. In fact, I tried my luck for a passenger from jaffna for up to Chennai today, but I was told that all the tickets had been sold out. Efforts are on to resume long pending failure of cargo services to sectors contesting right to Karikava, Telangana, and Colombo. It is in the interest of Sri Lanka that when expanding connectivity, attention should be given to the issue of sustainability of all types of services. Developers one type of service do not work against another. I'm a strong believer in people-to-people contact, willing to give higher marks to live than at the government contacts. Foreign and direct sectors are two areas where both countries have many things in common. The area of platform, India's progress has been cautious. There are some states in India such as Sikkim in the northeast which have had some experience. As and when Sri Lanka gets an opportunity to look at the subject in a dispassionate manner, it can study what lessons states of India have to offer and act accordingly. At the same time, we should expedite the process of developing a broad partnership with India for scaling up the domestic dairy production. I regard the collaborative project as an essential access to dish that the Sri Lanka should never suffer from the want of milk power. Education is one other area where India can make a difference. Sri Lanka should really seek assistance from its neighbor in establishing smart classrooms and modern computer labs so that all vulnerable sections of society, especially children of refugee families, benefit. Indian universities can be invited to set up satellite campuses in Sri Lanka. And the list can go on. this and much more will be possible only when two societies overcome one important hurdle, language of history. Which are episodes of the past among the two countries were recorded lasting, even when the Indian consignments of essential commodities reached India. It is easier to get frozen in the past. Only the bold and confident people can get past this trust deficit. I fervently hope that there is no dearth of such people or illness in the past. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ramakrishna, honorable journalist from India. In fact, he has touched our hearts by expressing his views with regard to the development projects to be supported by the Indian government. He was talking about Honorable Foreign Minister Dr. Jaishankar's visit and his opinion with regard to development projects. And then he himself was pointing out the electricity projects in order to sell excess energy to Sri Lanka. And he has also commented on the jaffna flights, resumption of jaffna flights. So this will make, this will expand our connectivity. Even he would like to revive the old partnerships to develop more projects and to resume the ship travel as well. And also he has also pointed out establishing Indian universities. So rather than having old episodes, let us create new episodes with these G20 possibilities. With that brief note, may I invite Dr. Jagan Perera from Sri Lankan capital Colombo, Executive Director, National Peace Council of Sri Lanka, on India's G20 presidency, opportunities for crisis hit Sri Lanka. Dr. Jagan Perera is the Executive Director of the National Peace Council of Sri Lanka, which is an educational and advocacy organization that focuses on peace building and transitional justice. And also political analyst and columnist for national newspapers and websites focusing on inter-ethnic reconciliation and peace building. He is also a supervisor to master's degree students of Faculty of Graduate Studies and visiting lecturer in Conflict and Peace Studies program of the University of Colombo. May I kindly invite Dr. Jagan Perera to speak on India's G20 presidency, opportunities for crisis hit Sri Lanka. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I was grateful to the TSST for giving me this opportunity to present workshop seminar and for being part of it. And I'm especially grateful, happy that we have our guests from India also participating in this program. It's wonderful to see that the bonds of human warmth and goodwill are so strongly there in our Indian colleagues. We are very grateful to India for the assistance that it provided us in our time of need. There were times when we were waiting for the next Indian ship to come in and to give us the threat. And that was a very great act of friendship on the part of India. Sri Lanka needs to be grateful and remember it. The problem for us is that as an island nation, we have a very insular thinking. And I think that there's a lot that we don't know about India and about Tamil Nadu. And Unlike the people in Jaffna, right? Like in Jaffna, people in Jaffna are much more linked to India. They are not, they don't have such an island mentality as those of us in the south, the England in particular, who have an insular thinking. Whereas when I visit Jaffna, I know that the television stations, for instance, are all, most of them come from India. And so there's a certain connection with the larger Indian society, and I'm sure people in Japan know more about what's happening in India and Tamil Nadu than those in the south of Sri Lanka. I think that's something that we need to address because in Sri Lanka there is this Ramakrishnan report with that. Despite the assistance that India has given, the 2 days that it sent, there have been misgivings about it also, and even some cynicism. But we have to understand why that is so. It is unfortunate, but that because of the insularity, the lack of exposure to India and Tamil Nadu, which you find in our media, India doesn't really cover affairs in India and Tamil Nadu. It's very much centered around what's going on in Sri Lanka. Almost all our newspapers, the news is all about what's happening in Sri Lanka, politics, the murders, or drug problems. Very little space given to international news. So we live in a sort of a very cloistered environment. And we focus, remember only our past history. And the past history that the Sri Lankan, the Sinhalese people know most is going to the ancient history, the Mahabharata, which talks about the ancient wars. We remember what happened during the LTT period when India supported at the start the Tamil militancy. Those are what is remembered. And so that fear factor is there, which needs to be overcome. Because the world has changed. The world has changed, and we need to think of the modern world. And our new president, our present president, yes, he thinks like that, and that is one of the positive features in him. I attended a conference that was held 2 years ago. The Jamaya to Lema of Sri Lanka held a big event to commemorate their 100 years of existence. And at this event, the president, he referred to the fact that we sometimes live in the past. We look at historical things. We try to go back to history. All of our communities, the Muslims, the Sinhalese, the Tamils, and we have to live in the present. India, we have a great advantage. India has now we heard our Indian colleagues talk about what India can do to help Sri Lanka. And I believe that India as president of G20 can do a lot and will do a lot for Sri Lanka. I mean, it is our biggest donor at the moment. It gave us $4 billion. We have been very grateful for that. And the great advantage we have is that we can get to know Indian political leaders personally, our leaders, in a way that they cannot interact with the leaders of Europe and America. Now, our president has been invited by the Indian Prime Minister to visit India. And the opportunity for personal relationship, possible personal relationships possible. We have very deep the relationship that we need to build and especially in the coming days, our president has promised, I think verbally he has promised that he's going to address the main problem in our country, although it is manifested today in economic crisis, it is really the ethnic conflict, the problem that existed right from the beginning of our independence. From 1948, we have had this problem in our country, ethnic conflict. And our leaders have tended to have always been very nationalist and majoritarian in their interest. Who is sometimes we speak of him as a great statesman and someone who thought of the entire Sri Lanka, but actually the first thing that government did in 1948 was to disenfranchise I would say they are not our, and they are not our citizens. And to try and send them back, they excluded that section of the population. And so that is something that we have to deal with. Now our president has said that he's going to deal with this. He said that he's going to deal with it this year, a problem that has not been solved for 75 years. He's hoping to solve it in a few weeks or months. So people are very skeptical about it. And but one thing in his favor, I think, is that he has not been racist in his talk, in his thinking. He has never promoted nationalism, which is something very rare because nationalism is such an easy way to get votes. And in this competitive party politics, almost all our leaders have been nationalistic, or they are very quiet about this issue of ethnic justice, of minority rights, of power sharing, of federalism. They don't say anything. But our president, Vikram, I think he is willing to say that I'm not saying I'm a fan of it, and that I think that he is the answer to our country, because there are other areas where he can be very much criticized. And in the south of the country, there is a lot of hostility and anger that he has sustained the government that the people didn't want, that people came protesting in their tens of thousands to get rid of the government, and that now the president has managed to sort of rescue those people who should not be in power because of what they did. But nevertheless, the very fact that he is now talking about solving the ethnic problem is something that we need to take seriously, because it just starts in the mind of people. It is an idea in the mind, then that has to be implemented. And it is possible that now he came to Jaffna and he pledged that he will implement the 13th Amendment fully. The 13th Amendment is an outcome of Indian insistence and persistence. If India did not pressurize the then government of Sri Lanka, we wouldn't have the 13th Amendment. We wouldn't have the provincial councils. Now, of course, on the other hand, councils are not functioning. For 5 years, they have not been functioning. President Vikram has said he will fully implement the 13th Amendment, and that he will also attend to the issue of the prisoners who have been taken in under the Prevention of Terrorism Act. Some kept for 10, 20 years without trial. The land of the people that have been taken over by the military and now being taken over by the religious clergy on the ground that it is some archaeological site. He has said that he will, and then the issue of the missing persons, all difficult problems. He said he's going to do it. And I think that India can offer assistance. India can support this process that the President is talking about. And in terms of the type of revolution that we have, I think the Indian model is something that India can assist us to achieve in our own country, because the Indian model of federalism, of regional autonomy, of devolution of power has succeeded in India. It has worked very well. Where India is now a country where each of the states has lots of self-determination, and it is something, and India is a united country. So we expect and look forward to India helping Sri Lanka actually India can help us in terms of the international community, because Sri Lanka in the last several years has been been viewed very critically by the international community. Most recently, the Canadian government has now sanctioned former Sri Lankan president, uh, and said that they are guilty of committing international human rights violations, and that's a very serious thing. We have to deal with that. Again, the government has said that they are going to set up a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to go into the past and deal with these issues of human rights violations. They have said they repeal the Prevention of Terrorism Act. Now, in all of this, the government needs support. I mean, the leadership, the leaders who are liberal and who want to reach out and try and create a united Sri Lanka need support. And so we look forward to Indian support in that regard. And in the same way that India gave us massive economic support at times we needed it most to sustain our country and the people. So that's all I really want to say at this time. And I'm again grateful, thankful that I'm here in listening to what India's role in the G20 presidency can do for the world and also for Sri Lanka. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Jagan Perera was talking about the strong goodwill that we get from India, because the Jaffna Tamil people do not have the island mentality because of the close relationship that we have with the Indian, especially the Tamil Nadu governments. He was talking about the mentality of the Sri Lankan people, with the history of Mahabhamsa and the attitude toward the Tamil militancy. But nowadays the president has positive features. So he stressed the fact that we should live in the present, not in the past. So with the big donor, India, with $4 billion, we can do more in future as well. So he was talking about solving the three issues, how the president has made the approaches, and how Sri Lanka has been criticized by the international community, for which the president has thought of establishing a reconciliation council. So he ended up with the note that India could play a big role internationally as well as role to be with Sri Lankan development as well. Thank you very much, sir. So let us have the important speaker. Before we have honorable head of the Department of Political Science, University Jaffna, Professor K.T. Ganesalingam. So before that, we will be having Commodore retired Seshaki Mazda, Director, Chennai Center for China Studies, and Regional Director, National Maritime Foundation, Tamil Nadu, to speak on India's G20 implications on its neighborhood first policy. So let us have an introduction to Commodore retired Seshaki Mazda. He was the former Regional Commander Coast Guard, Region East, Indian Navy Commodore. Watson is currently Head Strategy and Security Studies at the Center for Asian Studies. He has a distinguished service of over 34 years in the Indian Navy and the Coast Guard. Mr. Watson is an eminent scholar on security and foreign policy issues. Since retirement, he has served as Director General of Chennai Center for China Studies and Regional Director National Maritime Foundation Tamil Nadu chapter. He is also a visiting faculty at the Indian Maritime University, Academy of Maritime Education and Training, and the Great Lake Institute of Management. His writings are familiar with Sri Lankan strategic community. So let us listen to Commodore Retired Srishad Vasan on India's G20 implications on its neighborhood first policy.
I hope you are able to hear me. Yeah, so I was saying that I'm very happy to be here as part of the initiative. I was happy to see the address which is in jaffna, which I had not visited. So I've been informally, I got to say jaffna. So it's a great occasion for me to listen to stand appreciation from the people who are here in the panel, as well as share my own understanding of the topic that I am going to discuss. Now, what kind of implications would there be in terms of India's G20 presidency on its neighborhood policies? A very important question. So, it can be very simply answered as saying that India now represents the voice of the global south. And therefore, whatever it can do within its means is what it would like to do during the presidency of this area. And having known what the aspirations of its neighboring countries are, what are the difficulties that are being faced there? How can this be overcome by bringing the majority of the people of G20 on board to have global solutions? So this is where perhaps it is best as far as India's presidency is concerned. It's not that it was waiting for presidency to resolve the issue. It's been constantly working on this for decades now. But we have this cyclic process of, as was rightly brought out by Mr. Ramakrishnan and the previous speaker, about the first difficulty that there is. This is again, which can be overcome by the actions which have been undertaken by the recent government, and its leadership. Under the government in the last 10 years, there has been a phenomenal amount of emphasis on the neighborhood first policy. Which means that if my neighborhood is secure, it is stable, it is prosperous, then India itself is stable. So this is the spirit in which the maritime neighborhood and the land neighborhood issues are being inherited. So the developments that take place, whether it's in Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, are of great relevance to how India wants to navigate this difficult task, particularly post-COVID. India has been in the forefront of providing assistance, as was also brought by the previous speakers, that we were one amongst the first, not necessarily now. It's been a height of India, we rushed to the aid of the neighbors, but there is no the water crisis in Maldives, whether it was the earthquake which happened in Nepal, or whether it was a persistent financial crisis that Sri Lanka faced. So, the intentions are very clear, and what needs to be understood by the neighbors are that these are done without expectation. Not that you are carrying out these acts of goodwill to gain something in return, but these are done in the pure sake of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which other previous speakers have alluded to. That is the driving principle of India in terms of how it would like to deal with the globe, with its neighborhood, and then internally with its own history. So this slogan, which was also brought earlier to your notice, on one earth, one family, one future, is not a mere slogan. If we are able to address these challenges of the globe in the 21st century together, we find that the world is a better place to live. But we have left an excellent place for subsequent generations to live. So it is here that we need to establish foundations. So there are three C's: the commerce, connectivity, and cultural linkages which are there. And I am happy that Mr. Ramakrishnan has touched upon the connectivity issues within India and Sri Lanka. So again, there is some very good news about the increased interest in Sri Lanka from India, And likewise, the reciprocal effects, like I said, all effects are coming from jaffna too. So the need for starting the ferry services, the need for having better connectivity, need for enhancing the people connect is something that may not be overemphasized. But it's a ahead of the hour. So only when people on both sides are interacting, including important such as this, not just Senegal that means destination, but they are presently very close to us. Historically, we are brothers. And therefore, this realization should be there on both sides to say that we are brothers in India. And India has demonstrated this without any expectation. Now, on the commerce, again, there are Sri Lanka is in an excellent place geographically. It is like what the interest of China, of India, of European Union, of America in the past. So all this is a geographic advantage that Sri Lanka possesses. And which is why, at times we all feel they maybe even Sri Lankans in hindsight feel that they were manipulated by China, which made them give away Ahmad for 99 years. So when you look at the terms of the loans that were extended by China, unfortunately, these are predatory nature. I mean, we just have to go carry out an audit of what Sri Lankan companies have been driven into on this debt trap. So this has happened because of the provision of the contract which required that something like 80% of their investment goes back to China. Also, all the technical expertise comes from here. Majority of people, majority of the heavy effects required for projects come from China. It's part of the contract. So when you have this, the local population honestly does not do it. Which is why you have this data which compels the government to hand over for 99 years or whatever. So, these are some of the things that I think here at Sri Lanka that we need to be able to look at the kind of offers that are made by people. We understand as members, that time your requirement was to finance for bigger investments with the hope that it would help the Sri Lankan economy to grow, but it will provide job security for the country. That we did not happen. But the government is a lot that Sri Lanka has to do. Of course, there is a government, the chosen government, that has to be extra cautious in looking at the kind of investment proposals that were not able to put it from here at the chief head, the hidden agenda. So, it's quite obvious that there are countries which, essentially like Japan, the Japan which has perhaps the same kind of loan that are given to China or to Sri Lanka, which is comparable to China, does not have the same kind of negativity associated with its loan. These are factors that the Sri Lankan population is developing. So on commerce, they have to be extra cautious. They deal with people taking loans. But the point that was made earlier, one of the speakers about restructuring. So restructuring of the entire economic platform that you have, the way in which the schemes are funded, monitored, executed, all these are part of the economic reconnection and the restructuring that is whole Sri Lanka. As far as whether India's presidency will deeply impact its neighborhood policies, the answer is a problem. India would definitely like to use this occasion of its presidency to help out the neighborhood. Just as it is embarked on a journey to help out the rest of the developing nations. The G20, of course, constitutes as a part by others also. Something like 80% of the global GDP is a part of the G20. So it's not going to be very difficult for these people who control 80% of global GDP to help out those who are 20% of the balance sheet. So that is the view in which, so India would not be a facilitator of such a process of understanding by the larger majority of G20 to say that they need to help out these smaller communities so that we prosper. Now, government is also deeply which is one of the sustainable development goals that we spoke about, and the environmental goals that we are looking at as a result of the CO2, the CO2 taxes and CO2 production, are quite critical. Because it's only because of the post-COVID economic scenario that nations were allowed to perhaps go back to some other positive players and feelings, etc. This was a temporary rule, but it cannot be a permanent solution. So therefore, I think all the India would need to help out these countries to slowly transition into green fuel and to ensure that the carbon footprints are reduced. You know, when you look at the figures, it's not that the individual countries are contributing so much more. The per capita consumption, the per capita emissions, if you compare with what is happening with the US citizen and with the Indian citizen, it is something like 4 tons metric tons from USA citizens, but it's just about 0.46 metric tons from India. The figure should be similar in the world. So, no, this is where we need to work on a transition, while a temporary transition has been given for going back to fossil fuel and coal fuel. So, this should be only looked at as a temporary relaxation to overcome the crisis post-COVID. India has been in the forefront of vaccine diplomacy. It has enabled many countries to receive this. And as we have seen in the last couple of days, we have seen how Indian vaccines have sold over all the vaccines to the world. So people have freezer has come in for a lot of reasons. But you know, so this is where the strength of the Indian democracy, the scientific establishment, the healthcare products, are something which are made available to our neighbors. It's been done so in the past, but it will continue to be made available. It's for the governments to have trust and to say that there are no larger effects. Unlike China, which unfortunately had to do China every time because these are examples from which we learn. Look at the kind of vaccine inefficiency that was there in Singapore. So, obviously, we must recognize the strengths and weaknesses of your partners and ensure that you derive those strengths from your partner. So, this is what perhaps would be the agenda of India as it, for the next 1 year. It's where it is a continuation of policy in my assessment of what it's been doing in its neighborhood. And not necessarily to say that, I'm in the presidency, therefore I will do better. No, it's a continuation of the policies of India in terms of improving its neighborhood. To work even more closely with its partners to see that there are benefits which are derived from the developing countries around us. There is Bangladesh, which is right now going through some kind of economic turmoil. Everybody said, Bangladesh is a classic example, but the recent events have shown that in Bangladesh is facing some issues. Nepal, with the transition of the government having thrown domestic and external issues to solve. Bhutan has continuously been engaged by China that trying to redraw the boundaries. So, Afghanistan, Pakistan, there is serious issues there, and Pakistan is, we don't know how Pakistan is going to work in the economic turmoil that it's in. There are internal issues. So, when you have a difficult neighborhood around India, India has no choice but to be in the lead scene to see that they are helped, all the neighbors are helped, but to overcome the difficulties that are there, economic problems that are there, the national condition. India was one of the first West aid of food, fertilizers and fuel to Sri Lanka when Sri Lanka was in a major crisis. Why did we do it? We could have left and said we can we did not do it because I think historically, culturally, India feels that it has this bondage with the smaller neighbors and it has a moral responsibility to come to the aid of our neighbors. Whenever it happens, like I quoted the example of Maldives, whether it was the 1989 Operation Cactus, when we helped them out, or Sri Lanka after tsunami, when we did for our near the harbor of gas, or whether it is Bangladesh, which was liberated after Asian. So in any case, India, by virtue of its size, its stature, its principles of democratic traditions, and now, of course, a greater emphasis on the exercise of particular, has ensured that it leads the way for the greater engagement with the neighborhood. And in my assessment, I have thought that India will be able to play an important role in ensuring that the smaller neighbors who are around us are helped to realize their own potential. each of the neighborhood they have their own potential, their own strengths to stay and work. So if India can help them to realize a good potential, I think India would have done a great job. So that's all I wanted to say. So there's so much more that we can say, but maybe we can take up some more teaching and education. But I must say that I'm very happy to be here and look at some of the audience who are sitting in Jaffna Hotel, and also to have gained some representation here by the previous speakers. Thank you. Jai Hind. And let's work together. Let's prosper together.
Thank you, sir. Commodore Lieutenant Seshadri Walden, Director, China Center for China Studies and Regional Director, National Maritime Foundation, Tamil Nadu. He addressed many issues. He mentioned about the 3 C's: commerce, connectivity, and culture. So, stressing the fact Mr. Ramakrishnan pointed out, he talked about the people-to-people contact, that is the need of the hour. And Sri Lanka has its geographic advantage. So he also talked about the connectivity versus negativity. But he stressed the fact that we need to restructure in order to have resurrection. So he was also talking about the sustainable development, overcoming the crisis, strength of India's democracy, continuation of the policies of India, not only as the presidency of the G20, but as a neighbor to Sri Lanka. So, it is ready. India is ever ready to reach the neighborhood for great engagement. That was the nutshell of his talk. Let me invite our own gentleman, columnist, professor. Every week we are anxious to read his political columns in Veeragezari, Pinnakural or Pinnakaran, even in some other websites also. This is none other than Professor G.T. Kanasilingam, Head of the Department of Political Science, University of Jaffna, to speak on India's G20 presidency, Indo-Pacific consequences. He is more on geopolitics.
Moderator, special guest Professor Balasubramanian sir, and welcome address Director CSST Mr. Yadindra, and speaker and parliamentarians, provincial council members, academics, friends, students, including Bola, good evening. Now, special good evening, Father. I am. So, last speaker, first of all, we have a Center for Strategic Study, Fingerprint. This conference and the Center for Objective 3.0. First one, the academically strategic position in the discussion of Northern East region. Second one, India and another superpowers in the position in the geopolitical world in special reference to Sri Lanka. Third one, what are the benefits of G20, the Sri Lanka and Northeast Tamils? We have a title, both of two ideological perspectives, G20 presidency and Indo-Pacific principles. So I feel that geographical geoeconomical perspective in the presentation. The political influence of the interest group in the international affairs has long been at the work. However, it has increased significantly since the Second World War, especially since the late 1960s. It has also led an increase in the international lobbying activities of the government have come together the priorities their national interest. In the third is both the powerful government are advancing their tactical and strategical political position. As such, the G20 is gaining prominence in the international politics. US interest in the Indo-Pacific strategy are taking the center stage of G20 political grouping. This has been clearly identified in the speech to the past G20 conference, and India is assuming the chairmanship of the G20 2023 has further enhanced of Indo-Pacific strategic dialogue. The group of 20 comprises the Argentina to European Union, mostly 20 or 40 countries. G20 members currently count for more than 80% of world GDP, 75% of global trade, and 60% of global population. It's a very big market, very big resources in the G20. It is the prime forum of international economic cooperation in plays in the important role in the shaping and the strengthening the global governance and all major international economic issues. The G20 was established in the after of the Asian financial crisis in 1999 as a forum for finance ministers and central bank governors to discuss the global economic and financial issues. In the wake of the 2007 global economic and financial crisis, the G20 was upgraded of its state and government status. And in the 2009, it got international status of Prime Forum of International Economic Cooperation. The G20 initially focused on the border macroeconomical issues. However, it is an agenda now including the rate, climate change, sustainable development, health, agriculture, energy, environmental, climate change, and anti-corruption. The group does not have a permanent secretariat, and the president is supported by the regular, previous, current, and incoming presidents. During Indian presidency, the Triangular will compare with Indonesia, India, Brazil, and respectively. Indo-Pacific strategy in the drive to the primary maritime politics, geopolitics, international politics. Indo-Pacific originally a political, geographical concern and spans the region in the Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean. It's not a new concept itself. 10 years ago, Rana could use the word journalist. Indo-Pacific strategy for the first time was the marine strategies of the executive director of the New Delhi National Marine Foundation Center. Recently, he wrote the Washington Post in the new term have changed the new strategic mind map since Chinese reformed the opening up in the 1980s. Asia Pacific has shaped the image of the community of the interest linking with the United States and East Asia. The Indo-Pacific use the US policy makers means in the India and United States and other major Asian democratic, especially Japan, Australia will join propping China in the new framework of growing the Cold War influence. In the recent years, the Indo-Pacific strategy has been introduced advocated by the various countries in the various times. Former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe held talk with the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and especially promote the Indo-Pacific strategy on the one hand. He praised the India-Locust policy and other hand is expressed the need to strengthening the cooperation with India. Donald Trump addressed in 2017 the visit to the Japan was the formally directed to the Indo-Pacific strategy, influencing US-Japan interest in the strategic point. The geopolitical change brought about the rise of China are seen by the Washington the major reason, making effort to improve Indo-Pacific alliance. Therefore, the change in the geopolitical environment in the Asia-Pacific region are fundamental reason for the formulation of the Indo-Pacific strategy. It is this context that India considers the Asia prime national and Indo-Pacific strategy has assumed the leadership of G20. And the G20 relationship with the Indo-Pacific strategy has received the primary dialogue. India's leadership of the G20 is seen as a major force of the respective alliance of the partnership response to the Chinese rise, particularly in the context of the weakening US hegemony and the growing the geopolitical and economical pullout of the Indo-Pacific region. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed in his domestic audience in the 2020. G20 is the Bali opportunity to focus on global goods. In particular, the essence of this stage combining Indian global ambition of establish the multi-border world, it is the growing the projection. As a leader of the global south, but dialogue with about whether to G20 in the chairmanship will help India develop the multilateral worldwide and above all build the credible partnership between the countries that will promote Indo-Pacific peace, prosperity, also the previous the position of the public around. The Indo-Pacific strategy is seen today, the concept of the grown while the US's geographical values, China's engagement with Indonesia, 2020, G20 summit in the also tied to Beijing interest, increase in the Asian regional agenda. China has Indonesia issues the joint statement to ensure bilateral cooperation in the China together with Indonesia. Agreed to promote the mutually benefit the cooperation and implement Asian vision in the Indo-Pacific region. This respectively strategic capability for the China to deal with the new US and Indo-Pacific initiative. It can be observed that India has also the denied in the G20 agenda in this manner. The Modi government will use the summit as a geopolitical opportunity that showcases India's potential leadership role in the global governance. India, G20, the leadership team was the the meaning, one earth, one family, one future. Reflect the Indian desire, symbolic of the united world or global world. It is the first of the COVID-19 pandemic and now is the war in the Ukraine have cleared the lack of international solidarity as a sense of hopelessness. India, which has been the vocal about the reform that is global organization. Now is the time of how to leadership division as India for the much stronger diversity that should be definity of this move in the Indian ambition. Mindful is the responsibility to address the multilateral crisis. India is tasked with revising the G20 as central multilateral forum capable of achieving the position outcome. Resorting the common trust in the multilateral forum, higher task of the India's G20 presidency considering the Shanghai Cooperation Organization leadership. The coverage highlights India growing role of the conducting between the East and West, especially in the America and European Union. This is unique to the important the forum places of India is a unique position in the shared common agenda and shared common of truly influence regional and global development. Going forward, the New Delhi must try to protect the G20 from geopolitical issues and internal division among the members. The war is Ukraine, the change of the strategic importance of the non-aligned emerging power. At the G20 March summit, with the growing the influence of evidence because they were able to avoid being pushed into the contemplating the Russia or the Western powers. As a limited the influence of the middle power, India has been the opportunity and assumed great responsibility steering of situation rather than the demonstration of the great power and bilateral or even regional issues. And there an opportunity. Therefore, India has simulated the multilateral international system as India sees a situation of the prevent conflict and pluralization. Conclusion. India has a unique position to continue strategic non-alliance, avoid getting down of the geopolitical and the focus on reviving and public goods and building a sustainable global economy. Although massive challenges driving the trap of the opportunity of the middle powers, this will allow them to be integrated themselves in the global system, however, it is their own space. As such, the India has a potential lead to G20 agreed that ensure benefit of South and South Asia, given the overlapping issues of the COVID-19, the recovery. Supply the chain, resetting, technology and climate change, and Indo-Pacific region also lesson can be learned from Asia. Despite of the similar international division of the struggle for staying relevant aim to geopolitical tension, and 22 G20 presidency Bali made India excellent president system and development in the Indian Pacific within the context of Asia and regional base. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Professor K.G. Kanasingam was talking about superposition enjoyed by India. So how Sri Lanka could get benefits from this position. So he was also mentioning about the historical development with regard to this 1960s national interest and the political grouping, and how in 1999 it was possible for a grouping G20 established due to the financial crisis. They have become the primary forum for macroeconomical process, and how it developed into an Indo-Pacific maritime political platform. And he was also connecting the areas like US Indo-Pacific strategy versus China's One Belt, One Road initiative. So being the leader of the global political system, India can do a lot to promote Indo-Pacific peace. For India, G20 is a geopolitical opportunity to unite the world. And he was also unhappy about the Ukrainian-Russian war, which disturbed the Indian ambitions to make a better world with the multilateral development projects, to make contact with the East and the West. And there is a need for the emergence of non-alignment movement with the Ukrainian-Russian war. So finally, he concludes with the hope of building sustainable development projects with the supply of chains, researching the development plans, and India can be the excellent leader to promote the development of the globe, including Sri Lanka. Thank you, Professor, for your very analytical picture on this G20 setup. May I just wind up with one more note? As Professor was pointing out, the group was founded in 1999. Since 2009, the G20 has met at least once a year in response to various economic issues and crises. While the G20 is a primarily economic group, the G7, made up of the US, Canada, Japan, the UK, France, Germany, and Italy, is a more political group. These are still wealthy countries, but they are also all democracies, and the group deals as much with political issues as with financial ones. Of late, the G7 has become one of the leading voices when it comes to climate change. Russia was a member of the G7 from 1997 to 2014, thus changing the name to the G8, but was expelled when it forcibly annexed Crimea. Actually, Professor Balasubramanian was mentioning all these things. Current debate on excluding Russia also from the G20 for yet another military incursion might bring back memories of some. So, with that brief note, may I invite Mr. Yadindra for opening remarks? A vote of thanks or something like that. It has become a very interesting forum, actually. Let us listen to Jayendra to wind up the program.
Before wind up this event, I would like to ask is there any questions or comments on particular topics? We encourage your comments and questions when the experts will answer. Otherwise, if there is no any comments or questions, then we can wind up the I would like to invite someone to just to comment on the otherwise questions. Then, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have any questions, comments, then we will go to wind up this event. Before that, I would like to thank our special guest, Professor Balasubramanian, former Vice Chancellor of the University of Jaffna, and our experts today, especially Mr. Nadarajan, former Consul General of India in Jaffna, Commodore Sastri Vasan, and Dr. Jahan Pereira, and Mr. Ramakrishnan, and Professor K.D. Ganesan, and Mr. Sri Ganeshan, who is going to moderate, and also, ladies and gentlemen who are joining this evening, we thank you all of you. We expect your cooperation in future. This is the first conference that we have planned to organize in future for various topics. So thanks for coming here. Thank you very much.
சொல்லி மேலே லைட்டில் நான் போட்டேன் ஸ்டேஜுக்கு வந்து கிளியராக அது இருக்கிற அந்த லைட் தான் ஷோ ஆகுது. இவன் வந்து இப்போ அந்த பேனல் அப்படியே வரும். இந்த உதவி இல்லையா பேனல் அவங்க இருந்துருக்கும். இந்த பேனல்லாம் தெரியும். சரி அது இதுக்குள்ள ஏதோ இல்லாமல் தட்டு தர அப்பா படிகாரக்கம் சரி சரியா எல்இடி பேனல் வந்து கூடாது. அப்படியே பேஸ்புக்ல கூட ஜெரிசன் வயிறு ஓடர் எல்இடி பேனல் வெளியே ஒன்றும் இல்லை எல்லாம் செட் பண்ணி இருக்காங்க. சரி ஒரே வயர்கள் மட்டைகளோட അടുത്തോടെ ഇറങ്ങി അടുത്തോടെ ടച്ച് പാക്ക് പ്രச்சனையாக கொடுத்து